How's it going, everyone? Good morning. Today I'm doing a quick video. I want to talk about something. So this is gonna be another Passport Bro career video, and I really want. So let me make this clear for you. A lot of you guys want to go overseas, right? Y'all want to go overseas because y'all think because y'all couldn't get because the women back in wherever you're coming from, use America for example, because you want to leave the states because you think by leaving the states you're gonna get away from the issues that you was having in America. And let me explain something to you that could be furthest from the truth for a lot of you. Not for all of you, but for some of you, that is not the case, because what O'Shea Do Jackson likes to say, that where you are, there you go. It's something like that. Where if you was having issues in the States, most likely you're gonna probably have some issues in these other countries you go to, because some of the issues that you was having in the States are probably due to because of yourself. And I say this to say this because, like, there's a lot of guys who go overseas, and some they have money. Some get lucky. They get, especially like here in Korea, where there's a lot of job opportunities that are around American the bases, because you can get a contract job and you can make good money. Like, I'm not talking about these guys who going to Thailand, Philippines, and they like living off of like just their retirement checks. I'm talking about you can actually get a full-time job working for an American company, working for the base, or if you're a service member and you're making good money. And most of the times you're making more than what the average income of a Korean national is, which, you know, the average income of a Korean with a college degree can be between 2 million to 3 million won a month. And you as a contractor, you could be bringing in $10,000 a month. So because of this, a lot of times, just like in these Southeast Asian countries like the Philippines and Thailand, you can end up becoming a lick. You can get got. Like, this is very, very true. And a lot of times these same guys who go overseas who's getting got are the same guys who probably would have got in the States. And, you know, except that in the States, they're more alert to, I guess, avoiding it. But when they go overseas, they think, oh, these Asian women, they're not going to do this. And let me tell you something. Yes, they will. And 9 out of 10, they're better at it than Western women, because Asian women, they'll sell you a beautiful painting that they didn't even make themselves. They went and bought it from the dollar store, told you they made it, and then sold it to you for $100, right? Now, not all women are like that overseas, but let me give you a story. Before some of you be like, oh, that story, he's lying. I wish I was lying. So, I was working with a gentleman in his contract that I was on recently, as a government contract. I was working for this American company here in South Korea, and I was brought on to be one of their project managers. And I was working with the gentleman. He was because he was the QC for the project. Now he's an older guy. Like, he's in his 70s. Like, he can really start collecting on Social Security, but he keeps talking about he don't want to collect on it right now. He's trying to delay it. So he's in his 70s. Now, when I met the gentleman, he told me he was married to a Korean woman. I was like, okay, cool, no big deal. So I thought that's probably why he was here. But honestly, he was here because the contract that we was on, it gave him SOFA status, and I'll explain what SOFA is later on. SOFA is kind of like a visa, but you are underneath the USFK, the military community umbrella. So you fall under that group. So you don't have to go get a visa like the other people who aren't part of the USFK community. But anyways, so he was here under his SOFA. And he said, yeah, he has a wife is Korean. So as we worked on this project for the last several months, he kept like dropping a little more details about his relationship. And at first I didn't really care. Honestly, I was like, look, okay, like, I'm happy. This dude in his 70s, he came to Korea and got him a Korean wife, which I thought was rare. But then he said his wife she's 50. That's okay, that makes sense. She's older. She never had kids. She ain't never been married. And she got lucky and she came across this dude who's 70-some years old. He making good money. She made it come up, right? And he looks old. If he looks like a raisin, that's how he look. He didn't age well at all. But anywho, so as time goes on, he starts talking about certain things and whatnot. And so me and him got in a conversation about visas. Now, I was talking to him. I was like, hey, look, I'm working on my visa because I have my daughter. My daughter's half Korean, and because I have custody of my daughter, I can apply for a visa that allows me to stay here in Korea and take care of my daughter. So I was talking to him. I said, look, you're married. You should have no issue getting your visa. You'll be a spouse to your Korean wife, and she can sponsor your visa. And then he was like, oh well, me and her had to go get married. I said, wait, I thought you said y'all was married. He was like, well, not on paper. I was like, fam, I say, hey, you need to start working on that. You got like less than a year to get married and then to get your visa process started. And I said, here in Korea, when you are applying for a visa for your spouse, they want to see how much money y'all have in the bank, or at least your Korean spouse who's going to sponsor your visa. They want to know how much money you have in the bank so they could, kind of like approve or disapprove your visa. And he was like, well, yeah, we gotta figure that out. I said, but wait a minute. You told me you bought a house for her, but she's not your wife. He's like, no, yeah, I bought the house for her. I bought the house with my money. I put it in her name. Now, fam, let me tell you something right now. The average cost for a house, and when we're talking about a house, we're really talking like a condo, not a house. But they call it house. We're talking like a condo. So the average cost for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment select condo here in South Korea can range from $250,000 on. I even seen on up to $500,000. So this man, I'm just gonna assume he went on a low end. This man got his money. He got $250,000, worked it, $250,000, bought a house for this woman who's not his wife, put the house in her name. That's the first wildness of this story. So anywho, so I wasn't using my car to get on base at the time. We were using his car, and it was like a small car. And then like we go to work. He said, hey, yeah, look, I'm about to get a new car. So like, because sometimes I put gas in his car for him because he hooks me up, he'll pick me up because I can't get my car on base because it wasn't registered on base at the time. So I was using his. I'll give him gas money. He's like, hey, don't put gas in the car. My girl, she got us a new car. Now let me explain something to you. His girl does not work. She has no job. He is her financial backing, right? So his girl got a car for him. She got a car with his money, but the way he explains things, he makes it sound like it's her money and it's not her money. And I will explain why it's not her money, because later on he finally disclosed to me where he was depositing his monthly his paychecks. So his girl is getting a new car. She bought a brand new Kia, one of these SUVs, decked out, all this technology in it. She doesn't even have no driver's license. She can't even drive, but she bought the car. He said she pays $30,000 in cash for this brand new Kia. And Kias over here are cheap like that, and they're nice. And this Kia probably in the States probably go for $50,000, but here, since we're in Korea, it went for $30,000. She paid all cash for the car, put the car in her name. She used his money to buy the car. She cannot even drive, and she put the car in her name. Now, because he's SOFA status, he could have put the car in his name and I paid the taxes that you would normally pay if you're on like a regular Korean visa. So not only did she buy the car with his money, put the car in her name, they also had to pay the Korean taxes on the car that he paid as well. So far he bought this woman a house with his money, put the house in her name. They're not married. She took some of his money, bought a brand new car, $30,000, paid out cash, brand new, fresh off the factory floor, put the car in her name. She can't even drive, and she has no job. So she goes to school. That he said, yeah, my girl goes to school. He's paying for her to go to school. This lady is 50 years old. I actually met the lady. She seemed nice, but when those two together, there's really like not no it wasn't like a. It wasn't like they not even like kind of like a hugging each other, like how old people be all kind of cute. None of that. It was just She was there in like a Prada shirt. She had a Prada bag. My man out over here wearing fucking Salvation Army looking clothes, and his girl over here wearing designer. I'm like, man, couldn't be me. So later on we started talking about the visa again, and I told him, I said, hey, look, bro, like, so what's going on with this visa shit, fam? Like, look, like, you over here buying this girl, and mind you, when he bought the house, he fully furnished the house too, by the way. Yes. And with her taste, I'm pretty sure it wasn't cheap furniture. But anyways, so me and him, we talking about the visa. I said, so what's good with her? What's going on with your visa? You know, and he said, yeah, I talked to my girl about it. We're gonna figure something out. He said, honestly, we shouldn't. The money part ain't no problem because I've been having my paycheck get deposited into her account. I said, excuse me? He's been working for this. He's been working for the company for a year. They've been paying him $10,000 a month. He's been having his paycheck deposited into her Korean bank account for a year. So I said, fam, I said, man, look, you too old to be this stupid. Like, and 10,000 USD translating Korean won, that's a lot of money for Korean standards. And what I said earlier, the average income for a college educated Korean is roughly 2 million to 3 million won a month. And he's been depositing his $10,000 USD check into her Korean bank account. His name is on an account. They don't do joint bank accounts in Korea, even if you're married. So this man has been just giving all his, he's been like, this woman made a come up because she's 50 years old, never been married, no kids, not even had like no real skills because she's older now, but she made a come up. This man was her retirement. This man, and I asked him, I said, why you did all this? Guess what he said? He said, well, I can't take it with me anyways. And he's right. He can't. And then I realized the brother was just happy just to have somebody who's willing to even be with him. Right? So I guess the moral of this story is too, if you old and you're single, you have no kids, none of that, I'm talking about as a man, be cognizant. He probably, what I'm saying to you guys and how the tone of my story, he probably was thinking the same thing. But in the day, like he said, well, I can't take it with me, right? But for you other guys out there, they broke up. And he went to Germany, whatever, and he came back and she hit him up. So what happened was when this like a couple years ago when she was in her 40s, they was messing around, they broke up, he left, and how most of these girls, when you leave, there's another dude who slides in. Things probably didn't work out with the other dude. You know, he came back, she found out he was back. Those two, quote, got back together, I guess, and then all this in here. But I'm saying right now, like, look, don't put nothing. I don't care if you're married, because this thing, a lot of people go to Philippines do this shit too. Don't put nothing in another person's name because it's not yours. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have met men and women who talk about, oh, I got a business, I got a house, and then when it comes to find out, it was not in their name. It was in their husband's or their husband or wife's name. And in these countries, it's not like America. If it's not in your name, it's not yours. And I've seen situations like this go way south, where the American man or woman who comes over there, they're getting married, and then because the banking system here doesn't really give foreigners financing, so they put it in their Korean spouse's name, and the Korean spouses would put the house in their name, put the business in their name, and then when shit goes south, divorce and all that, the foreigner is asked out. Because when they go looking at who name is on the asset, who name is on the account, is not your name, it's not their name. And now you have to try to fight, plead, and cry to get your stuff back, but it was never yours the moment you put their name on it. So stop going overseas, letting love cloud your judgment. Stop getting got. Right? I get it. You want to leave America because you think America is the only place in the world that has men and women who are scamming, taking advantage of you, this and that. No, America is not. America's just more open with it. The West seems to be, especially America, we're just more open and upfront with it. So it's easy to see and identify. In these other countries, they are probably not just as, they're probably even worse because they're not upfront with it. They'll rub your back, they'll treat you well, and slowly will you in, poisoning you until they get everything they want because you wasn't paying attention, because you were so caught on the fact that, oh, I'm out of America, so it can never happen nowhere else. And it can. And it can. Keep your head on the swivel. Ask questions, this and that. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Even here, they be like, I'll do it for you. No, show me what you're doing. Explain to me like I'm a child so I understand fully. Don't, when you go overseas, go for men and women. Stop letting people do stuff for you without them explaining what they're doing for you. Because that's another way how a lot of people got up. Because these people are like, oh, I do it for you, and they'll do this, and this. And then when it comes down to it, when you're trying to fix something, you come to find out they didn't put it in a way where they're in control of it, and they're letting you use it. And you probably the one that paid for it. All right. So that's my story for today for the Passport Bros. Probably even some of you girls can learn, because I've seen it happen to women too overseas. So it's gender neutral, but in particular, this is my Passport Bros who come here to Korea. This is something you can take in Philippines, Thailand too. But other than that, I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Also, don't forget, I am working on the book, 5-Story Building, Passport Bros Korea. Make sure you check out the links, join my newsletter. I'm building a newsletter as well, where I'm gonna give out information. Right now, we're doing research on the economics chapter of the book. I'm gonna make like some infographics that's mainly focused on the Korean economy and whatnot, and I'm gonna post that on my newsletter. And then also, I'm working on a book as well, so sign up for my newsletter, which is like $5 a month, and you can pre-order my ebook, 5-Story Building, Passport Bros Korea, which is $16.99. The links are in the bottom. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share this with your mom and them, and I'll talk to you next week.